For our math lesson today, we are beginning Topic 11, Lesson 1. In Topic 11, Lesson 1, we are going to be learning about subtracting tens using models. Our learning intention for today is I can use models to subtract tens. Let's get started. Our Solvent Share is on page 453. It says, how can thinking about 4 minus 1 help you find the difference of 40 minus 10? Use place value blocks to help you. I can use my pencil to make the models of the blocks. If I have 4 blocks total and I'm subtracting one of them, I could write 4 minus the 1. It could be getting rid of this 1 here and moving it over here. Once I do that, I have 1, 2, 3 left. I know that if I have 4 and I take away 1, I would have 3 left. The numbers 40 and 10 use the same number of tens as ones here. If I subtract 40 minus 10, I know that 4 minus 1 is 3, and 0 minus 0 is still 0. Let's look at some other ways to solve. Now let's watch our animated video to help us follow along the top of our workbook page 454.
You know how to subtract ones. How can you use cubes to show 5 minus 1? Put 5 cubes on the mat. Then take 1 cube off of the mat. What do you get when you subtract 5 minus 1?
If I have 5 and I take away 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
5 minus 1 equals 4. So you can subtract 1 10 from groups of 10. How does knowing 5 minus 1 help you subtract 5 tens minus 1 10? You subtract the same number of tens as you subtracted ones. 5 tens minus 1 10 is like subtracting 5 minus 1. Since 5 minus 1 equals 4, you know 5 tens minus 1 10 equals 4 tens. 5 tens is 50. 1 10 is 10. How is 50 minus 10 like 5 minus 1?
The numbers in the 10 spot for 50 and 10 are the same numbers that are represented by the 1 spot in 5 minus 1.
50 is 5 tens and 5 is 5 ones. 10 is 1 10 and 1 is 1 1. Both have a 5 and a 1. 5 tens minus 1 10 equals 4 tens. What is the difference of 50 minus 10?
Select your answer.
I know that if I subtract 5 tens minus 1 10, it equals 4 tens. 4 tens is the same as counting 10 4 times. 10, 20, 30, 40. 5 tens minus 10 tens is equal to 4 tens, which is 40.
Each tens rod is worth 10 ones, so 4 tens is 40. So 50 minus 10 equals 40. So how can you use 5 minus 1 equals 4 to find the difference of 50 minus 10?
Let's try it. Select ones or tens to see the model. Let's look at ones.
5 minus 1 equals 4. 5 ones minus 1 1 equals 4 ones.
Let's look at the tens model.
50 minus 10 equals 40. 5 tens minus 1 10 equals 4 tens.
You can think of 50 as 5 tens and of 10 as 1 10 to get 4 tens, which is 40. Now you know how to use models to subtract tens.
You are good at math.
Now let's look at your guided practice together on page 454. Our directions tell us to write the numbers to complete each equation. The first one has been completed for us. Let's see how they did it. Here in our model, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. One of them has been crossed out. To write our equation, we'll write the total number of tens, which is 7 tens, and subtract or take away the 1 that is crossed out. If we have 7 tens and we subtract 1 10, 7 minus 1 gives us 6 tens. Then we are going to write the total amount for what these numbers represent. 7 tens is the same as counting 10 7 times. 7 tens is the same as saying 70. 1 10 is the same as 10. And when you subtract 70 minus 10, our answer is 60. Notice that the same numbers we used at the top were the same numbers we used in the tens place for our numbers. Let's do another one together. For this model, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens total. 2 of the tens are crossed out. We will subtract the 2 tens that have the lines through them. 6 tens minus 2 tens is the same as saying 6 minus 2. That gives us our answer of 4. 6 tens minus 2 tens is equal to 4 tens. Now let's write the total number. 60 is the same as saying 6 tens. 20 is the same as saying 2 tens. When you subtract 60 minus 20, our answer is 40. 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. 60 minus 20 is equal to 40. Now let's look at your independent practice to see how they would like for you to solve. For your independent practice on page 455, you are going to write the numbers to complete each equation. Just like we did in our animated video and our guided practice, you will count the total number of tens shown here in the model, write that number in the blank, then count the amount that are crossed out and write that number in the blank. Subtract and write your answer. Then you will write how many tens represent the whole number. You will write your answers in these blanks below. If you need an example of how to solve for these problems, you can look back in your workbook at your guided practice and see how we completed the problems there. You will solve for all 4 problems on this page using the same method. Now is a good time to pause the video to complete your work on page 455. We are now going to begin working on our last page of our lesson 1, 456. We are going to be problem solving. Our directions tell us to solve each problem below. Number 7 says, Ethan has 30 crayons. He gives 10 crayons away. How many crayons does Ethan have now? Write the equation to solve how many crayons Ethan has now. Use the numbers from our story problem. It told us he had 30 crayons. He gave 10 away. We want to know how many does he have now. Write the total number of crayons he had, how many he gave away, and what is your answer when you subtract those 2 numbers? He will have blank crayons. For problem number 8, it says Jacob solved these problems. Did Jacob subtract 1 or 10? Finish the equations. The first equation says 50 minus blank equals 40. The next equation says 60 minus blank equals 59. You are going to either write 1 or 10 in the square below. On this first equation, did Jacob subtract 50 minus 1 to get 40? Or 50 minus 10 to get 40? Write the number in the box. For 60 minus blank equals 59, did Jacob say 60 minus 1 equals 59? Or 60 minus 10 equals 59? In the boxes, either write 1 or 10 to solve Jacob's problems on number 8. For number 9, you get to make up your own story problem. Our directions say write and solve a story problem for 90 minus 10. In your story problem, you have to use both numbers and say that you are subtracting or taking away. I will write my example of my story problem, then show it to you. For my story problem, I wrote, I have 90 cookies. I gave the class 10 of the cookies. How many do I have left? In my story problem, I used the number 90, said that I gave 10 or subtracted 10, and then I asked how many do I have left? This is my example of my story problem. You can make your story problem about anything. Make sure that you include both numbers and say that you are giving or subtracting 10. For our last problem, number 10, it says assessment practice. 20 teddy bears are for sale at the store. Then 10 teddy bears are sold. How many teddy bears are on sale at the store now? We began with 20. Now 10 of them have been sold. You can cross out the teddy bears if needed to find out how many are at the store now. Is it 30, 50, 10, or 0? Fill in your answer choice below to tell how many teddy bears are left at the store. Once you have completed answering all of your math questions, you will be all done with your math lesson for today. We will be checking your answers during your math intervention time. If you have any questions before then, please let me know, and I will see you soon.